We the jack shit sippers. We sippin' jack shit sippers. We sippin' jack shit sippers. Alan hit me on my phone.
All right,
He said
boys.
I need.
Week 9, 2025 season. Let's get into it. All right, last week your commish had the Dirty Viking, Steve, over the Wizards' mental erections. That just sounds weird. I just didn't like the erections receiver core. Didn't think he had a lot of upside there. Did like Drake May, but obviously Steve was at a huge disadvantage not having a quarterback at that point at all. It looked like he might be able to start Bryce Young, but or Jaden Daniels, but they were both out. So Steve was forced to make a trade and traded for Andy Dalton, who got 2 points. So Steve was at a massive disadvantage going into the week, but I did love Steve's running backs, and I thought that his receivers were solid. So let's see kind of what happened here. Drake May rolled for the Wizards. He had 35 points. The guy looks legit. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, outside of one 14-point game, he has scored 25-plus points every week. He's been over 30 3 times and at 29-1. So he's doing very well. And Jackson Dart also came in scoring 23 for the Wizards. I said that'd be their advantage, and that's what they would need to win. Back to Steve's side, Matthew Golden and Andy Dalton combined for 5 points in his quarterback and Superflex. So massive disadvantage. However, the Wizards team just totally shit the bed. Jake Ferguson on tight end week scored 0 points. Bill scored 2. And then, like I said, I really don't like the receivers for the Wizards. Keon Coleman, Shaheed, and Io Manor combined, all 3, for less than 30 points. Right at 30 points. So I guess not terrible, but no upside, which is what I expected. But they did get R.J. Harvey. R.J. Harvey had all of 6 carries and somehow managed 3 touchdowns. So, sometimes better to be lucky than good. So they were in it. They scored 145 points, so they could win. But Steve's team, as I expected, his running backs were a huge advantage. Derrick Henry's coming in at 29 points. Bijan, though, just totally missed on a Miami defense. I mean, there is no one in the world that thought Bijan wasn't going to just run all over Miami, who's one of the worst run defenses in the league. But he got 5 points. So, score there for the Wizards. But Saquon, back to being Saquon. I mean, he had not had a run over 20 yards all year. And he had something like 5 or 8 over 60 last year. So he just has not gotten it done on the ground at all, despite getting the work. I said last week that I still liked him because he's getting the work. Well, he showed those explosive plays last week. He had 150 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown, and his first carry went for, I think it was a 60-yard touchdown. So Saquon blew up for 33. Jamar Chase thrown in 20. Pretty solid week, but Steve's, big surprise was the Tampa Bay defense. I guess not really a surprise. They played New Orleans, and sorry, Cooper, but they're not very good. They put in Tyler Shuck. Well, they got a pick 6, scoring him 26 points. The Viking comes in with the win, 168 to 145. Congrats to the Viking. You are no longer tied for the Sacco race. Wizards, Andre Fisher, you, my friends, are the owner of the Sacco if the season ended today. However, it doesn't. That means we now have, I think, 3 or 4 teams tied for the Sacco in the Sacco race for second place, that is. So with 5 games remaining, 5, right? 5, 6, we definitely have a Sacco race for sure. And unfortunately, your commish is a part of that. So let's see how that went. Oh, and by the way, my record on the season now, I only have 2 losses, so I am 6-2 on the season calling these games. Looking pretty good. All right, moving on to next week, or I should say this week. We have a rivalry week. It is our weatherman, our rain predictor, Big Thunder, versus his buddy, Sacco del Toro, TJ, our audio man. So, both teams having different types of seasons. Simma Nasty. I don't know. Simma. Who's got the keys to my Beamer? Oh, I'm going to have to play that in a newsletter sometime. But anyway, Simma. He has been by far the luckiest team of the season. Simma has 1 points on the season. So he has 1,100 points on the season. Just funny, it's all once. 1,100 points might sound like a lot. It is the second lowest. And I mean, he is far behind some others. So for instance, our lovely Wizards have 1,239 and they're 2-6. However, our rain predictor comes in at 5-3. I mean, he is just cannot miss. He's only had 1,137 points scored against him for the second lowest of any team. So he has been very lucky. Now, on the other hand, TJ's been the opposite end of that luck rating. He's 3-5, so an inverted record there. But he has scored 1,345 points, so 200 plus more points for the second most in the league. And I mean, he's got to be way far beyond Chad, our local villain, on Swifty. Gross. But he's got to be way behind him because Chad's been rolling, right? He's only 1 point behind Chad on the season. So TJ has put together a good team. He just can't seem to gobble together a win. So we've got these two going up against each other. TJ really needs a win to kind of get back into it. And unfortunately, I lost to our rain predictor last week. So he managed to get another win. At 5-3, he's not a lock for the playoffs, so he could still use the win. AI does have TJ predicted at 153 and Corey only at 139. So it does look like the favorite should win. But that hasn't been the case for basically every game that Thunder has been a part of. So let's get into it. Let's analyze this game and see where we go this week. So Thunder brings Love and Purdy. That assumes Purdy plays. He is definitely still questionable. If he doesn't play, Marcus Mariota is on his bench, but I think Jaden's supposed to play and Jake Browning. I guess Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb would be the super flex. So he is really hoping that Purdy plays. For this moment, we will assume that he does. So Love is going up against Carolina. Carolina has not been great all season on defense. They're actually surprisingly good against defense in the fantasy realm for quarterbacks. They allow the 22nd fewest points on the season. Love, while the pass catchers have not been great in Green Bay, he just spreads the ball around. He's just like Josh Allen. I don't want any receiver on this team, maybe Tucker Kraft, but I don't want any of them. He does well, though. He's got 20, 27, one bad week, 15, 35, 20, 17, 38. So he's been very solid. But I don't know. Carolina's defense, because you can run against them, it's not because they're good, has this good defensive fantasy rating. And Josh Jacobs is a little banged up. So I actually like Love here. He just seems to be playing better. Green Bay is playing better. I don't think Carolina, with either Andy Dalton or a hurt Young at quarterback, is going to put up a lot of points. So they'll probably attempt to run, but I don't know. I maybe call it a gut feeling. I don't have any good analysis here to say why I like Love, but 20 points I think has been his kind of benchmark. I don't see why he doesn't grab that here. And the fact that they're favored by 10, and it's just a 22-point over-under, but the fact that they're favored by 10, I don't know. I like Love. I mean, I guess we can move on to Purdy. Assuming he plays, the Niners get the Giants. They're in a 46-point over-under game. The Niners' defense is certainly hurting. The Giants just lost Scatterboos. I really don't know how that offense is going to function. I would assume that Dart throws more than anticipated. And given the Niners' defense is so beat up, maybe we get into a shootout here. The over-under of 46 doesn't really say that. It's not low over-under, but it's just kind of average. Currently, the Niners are favored by 2. Maybe Purdy gets it going against the Giants, who've allowed the 4th most points to quarterbacks this season. They've allowed a total of 1,800 yards on the season. They're bottom 5 or 6 pass defense. So haven't been great. I don't know. This has got a lot of question marks here. I don't really feel much of anything towards this. I mean, he put him down for 15 points. He'll be playing hurt. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of analysis or great info here. We will definitely need to watch where Purdy is at, and it could be a huge disadvantage if Purdy doesn't play and he ends up having to start Chubb, maybe Watson, because Chubb gets Denver. So maybe he tries to go for a stack with Love and Watson in Carolina. That's probably what I would do. But yeah, then you're just hoping for a touchdown. So could be a big miss there for Thunder. All right, looking over at TJ, he has Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is finally back. I mean, TJ's got to be hugely excited. He has been out for several weeks, and he still managed to be 1 point away from the highest scoring team in the league. He is back, and he was on a tear. He had 3 games in a row with 35 points. That's just incredible. And he comes back to Miami on Thursday night. Yeah, that's amazing. If I'm TJ, I'm super excited. There is no way Lamar doesn't get 25 points. I would shoot for 30 would be what I would call him for. And then you get Sam Darnold. Now, everybody likes to shit on Sam Darnold. I mean, yeah, I get it. But, dude, it wasn't just KOC. The guy has gone over to Seattle and has been extremely effective. And I mean real life and fantasy. So, yes, does he see ghosts under pressure? Sure. But Washington is not getting any pressure right now. They allow the 5th most points to quarterbacks. Meanwhile, you've got Darnold throwing for 295, 218, 250, 340, 290. I mean, he is very solid and has had 2 or more touchdowns in every game except 2 this year. Coming off a bye, I like Darnold. I think that he has a good game. I wonder what the over-under is in this. Give me a second. Yeah, it's 46, so it's solid, and the Seahawks are favored by 3. So, yeah, I think Darnold has a good week here. I think AI has this wrong. They only have him predicted for 20. I think he can push 25. So, I don't know. Washington's pretty beat up. Maybe they don't need to score at all and they run. But I don't know. I'm sticking with that. I think Darnold goes for 25. I'd chalk Lamar up for at least 30. So that's a solid 10-plus point advantage, pushing 20 to 30-point advantage if Purdy doesn't play. So huge advantage in the quarterback superflex spot for TJ. All right, let's look at the running backs. Let's look at the receivers. For Thunder, he's got Ladd McConkey, Justin Jefferson, Jameson Williams, and Jawan Jennings. Ladd McConkey has finally come on. He has been solid since week 5, scoring at least 15 points in every game. In the last 2 weeks, he has 25 targets, and huge, got zero points last week. Herbert is just playing phenomenally. He is throwing a ton despite the fact that this is supposed to be this run-first offense. Obviously, the running back injuries have kind of changed those plans, and Herbert is throwing 40-plus times a week. They get Tennessee, who allows the 9th most points to receivers, and they seem to be falling apart. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, TJ, but they just can't seem to get it together. Cam Ward does not look like a first overall pick. Yeah, I think McConkey continues to roll. Maybe, if you want to say whatever, Keenan and Hughes get everything and leaves Ladd out, that's okay. I mean, sure, that could happen, but it's certainly not what I would predict. Ladd is the best receiver of that group, and I think they continue to concentrate on him like they have the past 2 weeks. Then you get Justin Jefferson, who has definitely disappointed with Carson Wentz. Not that he's been bad. He's just not been like the number one overall receiver. He's scoring, about 12 points every week, and then he has 2 weeks with 22 and 19 points. So he's been very solid. But he gets Detroit this week. Yeah, they're going to score. So there's going to be a ton going on in this game. You got to hope that Jefferson pulls in at least 20 points this week. My only concern is J.J. McCarthy might be starting. And that's even a maybe. I think he's still questionable. So, again, another player that Thunder is going to have to watch going into the week. But I'm going to assume he plays, and I'm going to assume they hyper-targeted him. Although Addison is back, and he is catching touchdowns again. So, 15, I think, at a minimum for Jefferson. But I think you're hoping for 20 if you are Thunder. All right. Jameson Williams is in the same game. Man, Jameson Williams is nothing but boom or bust. He has 2 games with 18 points, and then every other game this season is 6 points or less. So basically, he's catching a bomb or he's not getting you any points. I'm not betting on that. I will go with him getting 6 points again. Minnesota's defense is pretty solid. I think that they attempt to run the ball. Detroit attempts to run the ball like they have been and been doing very successfully. So, yeah, I'm not excited there. And then in the flex, we have Jawan Jennings back. Again, this would be heavily dependent on Purdy. I think if Purdy plays, he's probably like a 10-point type of player. You hope that he catches that, 1, maybe 2 touchdowns that Purdy throws against a bad Giants defense. He does have a stack there. So that could work out for him. But I would just project him around like 10 points. I wouldn't put much else into it, particularly with the potential that Purdy doesn't play. I don't even know who would play. I mean, is Mac hurt too, right? I think he'd be playing hurt. So, yeah, not a lot of confidence in Jennings here for me. All right, going to the other side, TJ has Michael Pittman, Kayshon Boutte, Devontae Adams, and I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Chimari DK? I think they just call him DK, the Tennessee wide receiver rookie. So I think they just call him DK. I just confused that with DK Metcalf. So we've got Michael Pittman going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has an extremely expensive defense, but they are not performing at all. Jalen Ramsey, it looks like Miami was right in trading him away. He is not performing. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the 5th most yards allowed passing this season. They are allowing 275 yards per week. So, yeah, I mean, I think Pittman's gonna get his. He has been just solid. I mean, Daniel Jones isn't hyper targeting anyone because Downs is getting his, and he's spreading out a bit. But Pittman has definitely been the target hog. I mean, he has nine-ish, probably 8. Probably averaging about 8 targets a week, but every week he's had at least 5 catches. Well, 1. He has 1 game with 3 targets and 2 catches. But otherwise, he's had 5 catches in every week. He has most weeks with 7. He has scored in 6 weeks, 6 of 8 weeks. I mean, so they are targeting him in the end zone. I think he goes, I don't want to say goes off, but I think, 100 yards and a touchdown isn't totally unbelievable. I think kind of 50 and a touchdown, 60 and a touchdown is kind of bottom end, but I would chalk him up for a touchdown. AI gets this one wrong. They have him at 12 points. I have him closer to 17. Kayshon Boutte, Drake May, like I said earlier, has been playing great, but he just doesn't target anyone. He just throws to the open guy. Boutte's had 3 good weeks in a row, 13, 16, and 26 points, touchdown in every one of those weeks, 2 in one of them. So he's maybe he is emerging. It's just hard to see that with Stephon Diggs and others in New England. Atlanta also is a tough defense against the pass. They allow the 28th least amount of points to receivers. It's probably because most teams run on them oh no, I take that back. I lied. They have allowed the lowest amount of passing yards in the NFL by quite a bit. They've only allowed 1,000 yards passing all season. Ooh, that is not good. So maybe New England just runs on them and they don't pass at all because they've got two good running backs. But man, it's just hard to bet against Drake May right now. But I think I'm going to. I wouldn't bet against Drake May, but I would bet against Booty. Being any sort of great start. I think you're hoping for 10 points out of him this week. Devontae Adams, Puka's supposed to be back, so I think he will be getting fewer targets. He has had 8, 9, and 11 targets the past few weeks without Puka. But I think Puka does come back. I think that I assume that his targets would go down, but the first few weeks with Puka, he was getting about 8 targets a week. So it's just as a good passing offense. Now, they do get New Orleans, and their passing defense has been very good, but that's, again, mostly because teams run on them. So, I don't know. I think you're hoping with Devontae Adams that he's, what he's done in his career is catching touchdowns, and Puka definitely doesn't do that. So I think you're limited here. Getting some 20-point week out of him, I think, is difficult, barring multiple touchdowns. Last week or 2 weeks ago, he had 35 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. So he had 26 points on the week. So, yeah, sure, I guess that's possible. But New Orleans is not going to score against the Rams, so they're not going to need multiple points. I think if you're an Adams owner, you are hoping for a touchdown and 50 yards. I think that's kind of his upside. So I think 15 points is kind of the ceiling here, and his floor is probably closer to 8 points. All right, in the flex, we've got DK. That's what I'm going to call him, not DK Metcalf. This guy's come out of nowhere. Cam Ward has looked terrible. He's, I guess, targeting DK because he has 16 points 2 weeks in a row. So maybe he's emerging. We see rookies every year kind of come in the second half of the year, so maybe this is it. But I don't trust them against the Chargers. They've been a great defense, and I just don't see him doing much of anything. I think he has more like a 4 for 40 type week, counting for 8 points. So our last group is the running backs. I would give the edge here. Man, that's a tough call. This is tough. I would give the edge to Thunder. It's not by much, but I would give the edge to Thunder. Moving on to running backs. Thunder has J.K. Dobbins and Chase Brown. Man, talk about a change in just a few weeks. J.K. Dobbins did not score any touchdowns because, as mentioned earlier, R.J. Harvey got 3 on 6 carries. So it's just weird. But J.K. is still getting the work. He's getting about 15 attempts every single week. He does go against the Houston defense, which has been the only positive in Houston. Their defense has been solid all year. I think, Denver's been good on offense. It's so hard to say after last week. But Bo Nix is solid enough. So I would guess that maybe he tosses in a touchdown, but that would be about it. I don't see 100 yards come in, so I'll tack him in for about 12 points. Chase Brown, like I said, talk about a change. Joe Flacco comes in, and all of a sudden this offense is functional. Chase Brown is getting 11 carries for 100 yards. He's getting 12 carries for 73. He's catching 3 or 4 passes a week. This is exactly why Thunder drafted him. And he gets the Chicago defense. So AI has him predicted for 13. I disagree. I think he is more like an 18-point type of week. So I think Chase Brown has a good week here against Chicago. Now, moving over to the other side, this is TJ's wheelhouse. He has got JTT. Jonathan Taylor is just a freaking beast, man. I know that he's also got Michael Pittman, but I don't care. There is enough. I can't believe I'm saying this about Daniel Jones, but there is absolutely enough in this offense that he is conducting for everyone to be successful. Taylor is getting anywhere from 15 to 20 carries every single week. He's getting 2 or 3 catches. I mean, he has scored 30 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. He's had one game with only 15, but outside of that, he is just rolling. So I don't care who he plays. I don't care what the defense is. You knock him down for 20 every week. So I'm a huge JTT fan right now. Kyron has been underappreciated all year. Going into the draft season, everybody thought he would lose his job. But he scored 13-10, 19-10, 31-16. So he's just been a good, solid, definite number 2 running back for this team. But I think he definitely gets in the end zone against New Orleans. Now, it's a little weird to predict these games where an owner has the receiver and the running back. And now TJ has 2 receivers and 2 running backs. So that could really hurt. I mean, if the teams don't do well or those touchdowns happen to go to other players, that can swing this whole game pretty easily. But those are some great offenses to be tied to, so I think TJ is going to be fine. So TJ definitely gets the advantage here. All right, tight ends, and let's wrap this up. It's going a little long. We've got Tyler Warren. I still can't believe I didn't get this guy at the draft. He is playing fantastic. He might be the best tight end in the league right now. So he has got 18, 14, 18, 16. I mean, he is getting 4 or 5 catches every single week. Pittsburgh has been weak against the tight end for, I don't know, a decade, Fisher. You tell us. But it's been a long time. They just have not defended the tight end well. I think he is good for at least 10 points this week. I think he might even score a touchdown. Man, that means I got a lot of people in D scoring touchdowns. So I'd call him for closer to 15. Moving over to Trey McBride. Dude, he gets Dallas. So, yeah, we're done. He's got at least 20 points in him. He is getting literally 10 targets every week. That is what he is averaging. Last 2 weeks, he has had 13 and 11. He has scored 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He is the only pass catcher in Arizona worth trusting. So advantage goes to TJ here, but look, I'm not. Warren is very good. McBride just gets Dallas. So let's close this up. Who does your commish have? I am taking TJ. I am with AI here. The upside on Thunder's side is limited, where I think that there is a big ceiling here that TJ can hit. I would say there is a bigger floor that TJ could hit with those stacks, but those quarterbacks, Lamar and Darnold, their matchups, who they get, they're both good. That's just too much for Thunder to overcome. So Thunder, not looking like a hurricane this week, piddling out like one of those afternoon thunderstorms here in Florida. All right, boys, that's it. Chad, play me out. Peace out.
We the jack shit sippers. We sippin' jack shit sippers. We sippin' jack shit sippers. Alan hit me on my phone. He said I need